for the 774 local governments in the country to put an end to the gross abuse of the affairs by the state governors. The Apex Court barred the governors from receiving, tampering or withholding funds meant for the local government. Correspondent Kulujo now reports.
Over the years, agitation over the autonomy of local governments has been a ranging issues in Nigeria. This morning, the Supreme Court gave its verdict in a suit initiated by the federal government against the 36 state governors over the autonomy of local governments. The federal government, through the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, dragged the 36 state governors to the Supreme Court for withholding allocation meant for local government councils. In the lead judgment delivered by Justice Emmanuel Agim, the federal account was ordered to henceforth pay directly all monies standing to the credit of local governments in the country. The governors were also barred from henceforth dissolving democratically elected officials for local governments, and that doing so would amount to a breach of the 1999 Constitution. The court added that the state governors have no right to keep and manage allocation on behalf of the local government, since such remains unconstitutional. The Apex Court maintained that the state governors have for over the years used privilege conferred on them by the Constitution to defraud and rob the local government of its rights, adding that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria expressly declared that the allocation shall be shared and distributed among the 3 tiers of government. The court equally ruled that allocation of local government should be paid directly only to the democratically elected local government councils. On the independence of the local government councils in Nigeria, the Supreme Court stated that state governors have no right to dissolve any democratically elected local government using the state powers, and that the federation account should only release allocation to democratically elected local government executive. The court expressly declared that state governors have no power to replace democratically elected local government with the caretaker committee. Some of the councils speak on the judgment of the Apex Court.
We will get the certified true copy of the judgment as a body, the body of State Attorneys General of the Federation. Will study it and then we'll come up with our statement on it.
The Lordship came to a conclusion that money due to local government shall henceforth be paid directly from the Federation account to the 774 local government and 6 municipal council in Abuja. So that laid the matter to rest today.
We are excited that finally freedom has come to the people of Nigeria. Freedom has come to the people. The democracy can now be entrenched in all the 774 local governments in Nigeria. Our people can now see rapid developments. So we just want to thank God Almighty for giving us a president like Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has had the courage to take this step by coming to the proper place.
The Supreme Court, however, directed total compliance with these orders, while all preliminary objections of the defendant were overruled by the courts. From the Supreme Court in Abuja, Kunle Ojo, Galaxy TV.
The Supreme Court on Thursday made the verdict that allocation of the 774 local government areas in Nigeria be remitted directly to them by the federal government. However, a legal practitioner and public affairs analyst have embraced this development. Galaxy's Oluwadara Akingbungbe sent in this report.
Dr. Felix Olorunda, a public affairs analyst and security expert, buttressed that with this development, local government council in Nigeria will get the allocation directly from the federal government, and the local government council chairman can be politically independent.
And they will not need to depend, and they don't need to belong to the same party with the governor at the state level. So the local government can belong to a party A, and the state governor can belong to a party B. They'll be able to run their different government, sub-government, and be able to have that independence to do what they have to do for their local government. It's good. It's a good development for our country.
On the other hand, Barrister Kabiru Akingbolu stated that state government in Nigeria has made the local government an appendage over the years. He added that with the judgment of the Supreme Court, it will be easy for local government to have their allocation.
You know, so local government is like an appendage. It's just existing only in names. There is no practicability in the federalism. So with the judgment of the Supreme Court now, it is very easy now for the Remedy Mobilization Allocation and Fiscal Committee or Commission to credit the account of the local governments directly.
Dr. Felix Olorunda said with the Supreme Court's judgment, there will be development in the grassroots.
So it all depends on individual who has integrity and honesty, who want to do something and want to leave a legacy, you know, for their people who know why they are elected, and they are elected not to, you know, take all the money from the treasury, but to improve the environment and to improve their communities.
Galaxy's Oluwadara Akingbolu further reported that Barrister Kabiru Akingbolu emphasized that local government chairmen will have to be democratically governed, and those who are democratically elected will only be given allocation from federal government.
It is democratic in all tenets by virtue of Section 7 of the Constitution. Do you understand? However, the governors had never allowed this provision to come into being. And with the another implication of the judgment is that the local government now, they will have to do, they must be democratically elected. Unlike the one that the state governors will sack them, they put caretaker. And another implication is, by the judgment that I have seen or I have read, those local governments that are being run by caretakers may not get their allocation.
President Bola Tinubu welcomes the decision of the Supreme Court of Nigeria affirming the spirit, intent and purpose of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on the statutory rights of local government. We have details in this report.
The president states that the fundamental challenge to the nation's advancement over the years has been ineffective local government administration, as governance at the critical cellular level of socio-political configuration is nearly absent. In a statement issued by the Special Advisor on Media and Publicity, Chief Ajirin Gilale, President Tinubu emphasized that the onus is now on local council leaders to ensure that the broad spectrum of Nigerians living at that level is satisfied that they are benefiting from people-oriented service delivery. President Tinubu notes that the position of some essential amenities and public goods, such as the construction and maintenance of certain roads, street lighting, drains, parks, gardens, open spaces, and other residual responsibilities, including community security, are stunted owing to the emasculation of local government. Tinubu commended the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi-San, for his diligence and patriotic effort on this important assignment, stating that this administration remains committed to protecting the principles of the Charter governing citizens, institution of government, hands and ties of government, in furtherance of building an efficient and performance-driven governance system that works for every Nigerian.
The wider consultative meeting called by the President Bola Tinubu for discussion on minimum wage ended in an inconclusive note on Thursday, but not without a head-to-head talk between the President and the organized labor comprising the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress. We have details in this report.
The meeting, which lasted for 1.5 hours, mainly centered on x-raying the issues that should necessitate an increase in the current minimum wage, highlighting the contemporary economic realities. The meeting was, however, adjourned till next week to allow for more consultation from the government and labour side. Emerging from the meeting, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Nkeru Kongejiocha, described the short meeting as fruitful, as it was more or less a family discussion rather than a father and a child.
Very soon everything will be resolved, of course. When father and children talk, you know what it is. That's just exactly what has happened, and it took us almost like an hour. And I believe that it's all for good.
Corroborating the Minister of Labour's position, the President of NLC, Joe Ajaero, revealed that the meeting will reconvene next week, insisting that both parties have not reinstated their previous positions on the amount. On his part, TUC President Festus Osifo said they told the President in plain terms what the economic realities are at the moment. He said they tried to make the President see reasons why the minimum wage has to be shored up, going by the hardships Nigerians are facing.
In real terms, it wasn't a negotiation, it was a discussion. We have had that discussion, and we agreed to look at the real terms, probably convene the next 1 week. So that's where we are, because we didn't go there to talk Naira and Kobo. But at least there were some issues, some basic issues that we agreed on. I could remember mentioning that we didn't go into Naira and Kobo discussion. Now, the status quo in terms of the amount, 250 and 62,000, remains until we finish this conversation.
In the meeting, we try to put issues on the table, issues that are bordering and biting Nigerians today, the economic difficulties and the value of Naira, how it has also eroded, how this has affected the prices of commodities and goods in the market. So we try to put this before Mr. President, because he's the president of the country and the buck stops at his table. You know, we've had all the conversations with all his agents, but today we said that let's meet with the father of the country and have this conversation.
Recall that the battle to secure a new minimum wage has spanned over 6 months after the federal government constituted a tripartite committee to review the existing minimum wage of 30,000 naira, which culminated in the federal government declaring to pay 62,000 naira and Labour insisting on 250,000 naira as minimum wage benchmark acceptable to them.
The President of the Republic of Belarus, Alexander Lukashenko, has stated his country's readiness to partner with the Federal Republic of Nigeria in key areas of the economy. He gave the assurance when he received the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, in his office in Belarus. He highlighted some of the areas Belarus is looking at for cooperation between the two countries, include agriculture, food processing, industry, and education. He also spoke through an interpreter, pointed out that the Senator Oluremi Tinubu's visit has further strengthened his administration's resolve to enhance bilateral relations with Nigeria, noting that one key area that will be hoping to collaborate is on specialist trading. He urged the First Lady to prevail on President Tinubu to allow both countries' foreign ministries to meet and fine-tune policies that engender full and smooth cooperation between the two countries. Responding, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, thanked her host especially for providing 20 Nigerian students full scholarship through her initiative, Renewed Hope Initiative. You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News, and coming up next. The federal government inaugurates committee to reduce maternal to birth transmission rate of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. Details with these and more will come to you shortly. Just stay with us. We're glad to have you back. Now, for more updates and latest news, please visit our website www.galaxytvonline.com. Connect with us on our X handle at Galaxy TV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/GalaxyTVNews. You can follow and interact with us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/GalaxyTV. Don't forget to follow and tag us on our Instagram page at Galaxy TV. You can also avail our eyewitness feature via WhatsApp. If you have breaking news around you, simply share your story by sending short clips or videos of the news on 0218-666-669. Our social media platforms are user-friendly and can always accommodate your live updates and comments. The federal government has inaugurated National Prevention of Mother-to-Child Transmissions and Pediatric Act Acceleration Committee to reduce maternal-to-birth transmission rate of HIV/AIDS in Nigeria. The inauguration ceremony held at the National Agency for the Control of AIDS office in Abuja on Thursday. In his open remarks, the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Tunji Alausa, explained that the committee is constituted to ensure the reversal of negative narrations about Nigeria on mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS. Alausa called for more collaborations with those who are willing to partner to provide health security for the children. The Minister of State disclosed that the committee will collaborate with state governors, State Ministry of Health, and all the relevant stakeholders to cover sub-national levels with the sensitization and treatment.
The National Agency for Control of AIDS, NACAP, and the National AIDS and STI Control Program, NASCAP, we will provide effective governance for this program, working with all our partners and other departments within the ministry. We will facilitate efficient, equitable, and quality health care for all our children.
Unfortunately, Nigeria faces a critical challenge in preventing mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS and ensuring access to care for children living with HIV. Our epidemiological estimates, as at 2023, says that we have 140,000 children under age 14 living with HIV/AIDS, with about 22,000 new infections and about 15,000 AIDS-related deaths in Nigeria.
In her remarks, Chairperson Nigeria Governor's spouses and also the wife of Kwara State Governor Olufolake Abdulrazak commended the government for working towards bridging the gap of mother-to-child transmission of HIV/AIDS through the establishment of the committee.
I want to say it's a pleasure to be part of today's launch of the PMT-CT Pediatrics AIDS Acceleration Committee to scale up existing plans and achieve substantial progress in preventing mother-to-child transmission of HIV while ensuring care for children living with the disease. Despite the effectiveness of the prevention of mother-to-child transmission of human immunodeficiency virus HIV program, Nigeria is said to have a high burden of vertical transmission of HIV, and this is why we're here today.
Some residents of Olori community in Ughelli South local government area of Delta State have come out to protest over the indiscriminate flooding of human waste on the street. The residents who came out in their numbers after the early morning downpour were seen using sand to cover the human waste which were visible on the water channel. Speaking on the annoying smell from the street in the community, the resident called on homeowners to ensure proper sanitation as human waste in sewage pit have flooded the streets.
Let us be what because of their shit. They are such a way open. They are such a way full. All the time they go to open such a way they pull up. What are they give people? Maybe people they hear their order. We don't need that. Make all of the come back in shit. Make it up. Would they block is the gutter when the shit they pass? They come with us.
This afternoon, so we got the year order. We don't know where the order they come from. As I come outside, I got the same shit where they run for the gutter. So they make us come here. When we reach here, so they open soccer way. The soccer way they rush, they enter the gutter. I not be saying they for rain don't stop. So the other can enter everywhere. That's why we come in the people say, let them find solution for the soccer way now because we don't tire for the outdoor.
We don't say when this thing they disturb us for this street. Today will come provoke me. When I sit down on my store, I know the order of the shit don't let me rest. I told the person now come outside. As I come outside, as he say the shit was out of the rush, they come.
United Nations set aside the 11th of July to celebrate World Population Day. A country like Nigeria is rich in human resources, yet is unable to harness this for prosperity. In this report, Galaxy's Ireba Misalako looks at ways our population could be used for maximum development. The report.
Economists see high population as an advantage, and according to National Bureau of Statistics, as of 2022, Nigeria had over 216 million inhabitants. Although a lot of experts agree that the figure cannot be accurate, the country is having a surge of unemployment. What seemed to be the hindrance to utilizing our population to our advantage?
Obviously, this means we have to deal with youth unemployment, we have to deal with skills acquisition, we have to have a conversation on human capital development, we have to have a conversation on skill matching, you know, in respect of the current needs of the period.
Population should be an advantage to any country. And if you look at countries of the world, like China, India, Singapore, and some other countries, they've actually harnessed, they'll be able to harness their population to their benefits.
It cannot be denied that not utilizing our population to the maximum would have negative consequences. Brain drain seemed to be one of such.
The other issue of, you know, Nigerians running away and all of that, I don't know if I should call psychological thing, it's a mindset thing. Many of our people have a complex, and you feel, you know, if it's the country of the white man, you are better than. And I tell people, look, when you don't travel, you think everything that glitters is gold. When you travel, you realize that many of us in Nigeria have a far better, higher standard of living than the persons who have run away.
Most of our policies are not spurring youth's interest, you know, in adding value to the society or to the economy, you know. And because we don't have policies that will actually retain graduates in the economy, you know, and most of them are actually they prefer to travel out of the country to go and look for, jobs.
Even though the present government is striving to make Nigeria a productive country, experts in the sector have some recommendations that seem to be overlooked by the government of the day.
I think a starting point would obviously be first to have a population census. That's a big starting point. To put it in perspective, the current population on which all our projections, when we say we have a population of 200 million, it's a projection based on the 2006 census. It was a flawed census. So what's important is that you're getting, you know, productivity out of the population that you have. And usually an unproductive population is one in which, you know, obviously you are not harnessing the power of the strength of the population for economic output.
Okay, when all these goods, public goods, are provided, you see that average Nigerian youths, we want to, you know, be engaged meaningfully. We engage in productive activities, and we contribute is our quota to the development of the economy. So government need to engage, to have and provide an enabling environment for them, and there should be policy.
Ireba Misalako, Galaxy TV News, Lagos.
The federal government has been advised to design a more robust, sustainable and institutional approach to keep the youth engaged in order to curtail the spate of insecurity in Nigeria. The National Commandant, Peace Corps in Nigeria, Dr. Dixon Akor, gave the recommendation at the 26th anniversary and 2024 Founders' Day celebration of the Corps held in Abuja. Correspondent Kunuju reports that Akor noted that besides requiring role differentiation as panacea to address insecurity challenges in the country, the nature of insecurity in Nigeria requires multi-sectoral, multi-dimensional and multilateral approaches.
Furthermore, I would like to quote Kevin Khalid, who said, "No person was ever rewarded for what he gave. No person was ever honored for what he received, but honor being the reward of what he gave."
He emphasized the need for all Nigeria to continue to play essential roles in the search for peace, harmony and social order in Nigeria and the world at large. The chairman of the event and the former Senate President Ahmed Lawan, who was represented at the event by Adeshola Olushade, FCTA, commended the Corps for being innovative, adding that the commandant and other leaders should not rest on their oars.
Year vision. A child of 26 years old, is he any longer a child? Is he any longer a baby? No, he is a full-grown person. However, the 26 years journey is not without its challenges. It only requires a person of great vision to be able to weather the storm and continue to forge ahead. Therefore, our being here today should be a lesson.
The Defense Headquarters says troops eliminated 187 terrorists, apprehended 183 others and rescued 109 kidnapped hostages in different operations across the country in the last 1 week. The Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, made this known on Thursday in Abuja while briefing newsmen on the operations of the military across the country. Buba said the troops recovered 128 assorted weapons and 3,300 assorted ammunition, comprising 80 AK-47 rifles and 19 locally fabricated guns. He said the troops also covered 1,941 rounds of 7.62 mm special ammo and 729 rounds of 7.62 mm NATO, among others. Buba said that in the northeast, the troops of Operation Hadinkai conducted successful offensive operations in Dikwa, Goza, Bama, Kukawa, Chibok, Bamwa, Kaga, Gamburu, Ngela and Kunduga area of Borno State. The troops also neutralized 97 terrorists, arrested 45 suspects and rescued 21 kidnapped hostages, as well as recovered 47 AK-47 rifles and 15 fabricated rifles, among others. The operatives of the FCT Police Command attached to Ido Police Division, acting on credible intelligence, trailed and arrested one Nuhu Ezra of Gosa Kipipi village, Lube, Abuja, with a human skull and bones. The suspect, who was found with the body parts upon interrogation, stated that he picked them up from the bush while hunting at Kuje and had the intention to sell the body part for 600,000 naira. While the Commissioner of Police, FCT CP Bennett Igwe, has ordered that a thorough investigation be conducted to ascertain the bearer of the body part, the intended buyer, as well. He also directed that discreet investigation be conducted to determine if the suspect killed anyone to be in possession of the body part and how long the suspect has been in the alleged business. The Commissioner of Police urged residents to be wary of the environment and report suspicious activities. Makurdi Zonal Command of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has staged a road rally across major streets of Makurdi to mark this year's African Union Anti-Corruption Day. The road rally, which began at the zonal EFCC headquarters, Makurdi, is aimed at sensitizing the public on the dangers of corruption and to draw their attention to collaborate with Commission in its campaign against corruption in the society, particularly through whistleblowing, with this year's theme tagged Effective Whistleblower Protection Mechanism, Critical Tool in the Fight Against Corruption. The acting zonal director and company of members of the Commission, other paramilitary agencies and core member called on the public to key into the Eagle Eye application to mitigate corruption in both public and private organizations, as well as fraudsters, which has become a menace.
We also assure every whistleblower of protection. EFCC will never betray you. Every whistleblower must point towards truth and evidential proofs. There is punishment for false claims and misleading intelligence. One silent fact about whistleblowing is that it shows commitment and drive towards anti-corruption.
Determined to ensure farmers in Benue return to farming activities this season and boost production, Governor Hyacinth Alia has set the stage for the free distribution of farm input, fertilizers, crop seedlings, among others, to farmers. Flagging of the distribution at the premises of the State's Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security in Makurdi, the governor said the distribution is as a result of high cost of agricultural items in the country, stressing that this input would only be given to genuine registered farmers for free to strengthen food security. While he encouraged farmers to engage in good agricultural practice, advised young people to embrace agriculture for their overall good, as his administration wants to empower and make the young people rich through agriculture. Earlier, the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Security thanked the governor for the efforts in revamping the sector in the state as the President Tinubu for the assistance in Benue.
Our administration is quite aware of the plight of Benue farmers in the face of insecurity, soaring prices of agricultural products and production inputs. For the first time in over a decade, the state government is subsidizing other essential farming inputs, seeds and seedlings, agrochemicals and knapsack sprayers to our farmers to enable them to achieve bountiful harvests.
Due to the unprecedented support of His Excellency, are now fully mobilized for action and ready to soar higher. Procurement and distribution of assorted fertilizers and other inputs have subsidized prices to enhance food security all year round.
Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara has berated the 25 lawmakers loyal to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike over the 2025 budget. Governor Fubara made this known when he received stakeholders from the 25 local government areas of the state on a solidarity visit. Correspondent Dele Fason completes the story.
The meeting between the Rivers State Governor and the stakeholders is coming barely 24 hours after the 25 lawmakers loyal to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike gave the governor a 7-day ultimatum to present the budget to the House or face the consequence.
In our 2025 budget, which we have already started, you don't worry about those people that are delusional. They think we are still sleeping. Let me tell you people so that they will hear wherever they are. I wanted to help them. Sincerely, because I know them. And I've said it before. These are people that I've helped.
Speaking on the 2025 budget proposal, the Rivers State Governor said he has started the process of the budget.
I want to assure you one thing. We are not fighting anybody. We appreciate what God has used people to also do in our lives. But we are not going to rule this state on our news. We will go standing this way I'm standing.
From Rivers State, Dele Fason reporting for Galaxy News.
You're still on to Galaxy Primetime News. We'll quickly take a break and when we return, the news continues. To stay with us. I'm glad to have you back now to carry the rest of the stories. Edo State Governor Gordon Obaseki has inaugurated a 19-member transition committee to ensure a smooth handover from his administration to the next in the state come November 11, 2024. The committee, which is chaired by a former Commissioner for Finance, Joseph Ebige, also had all the members joining online. Correspondent Dele Fason completes the story.
The inauguration of the 19-member Transition Committee by the governor is coming less than 3 months to the election, which comes up on the 21st of September 2024. The governor promised the team appropriate documentation of government policies, among others, in ensuring the smooth handover.
The team will look and retrieve all documents and all other related materials relating to policies, decisions that has been taken by this administration in every area of government and governance over the last 8 years.
Responding, the committee chairman and former finance commissioner, Mr. Joseph Eboigbe, promised a professional and diligent approach in the discharge of their duties.
Today, that we will discharge the responsibilities vested of us in utmost diligence, professionalism, and meet the time frame that is set for us. In this, as you have mentioned, the achievements and initiatives we've implemented in these past 8 years have been immense. So there is a need to properly document for research and other purposes.
From Edo State, Telefason reporting for Galaxy News.
Lagos State Task Force has served removal notices to squatters and illegal occupants dwelling across various canal setback in the state in an effort to curb the incessant flooding occurrences experienced during heavy downpours in the metropolis. The notices, which were served to settlers today by the chairman of the agency, CSP Adetayo Akirile, were carried out at strategic location where it has been observed that squatters had built shanties and makeshift buildings too close to drainage system, which contravened the laid-down physical planning laws of at least 15 feet from the canal setback. He described the activities of the squatters as a time bomb due to unpredictable climate change experience across various parts of the world. CSP Akirile further disclosed that shanties across various canals of Sholuyi, Bagada bus stop, Charlie Boy bus stop and Bajulaye Canal were all visited by the agency to notify the occupants of the intention of the state government to clear out those areas. And now move over to the foreign news for more news. Hello and welcome to the foreign news. Long-range U.S. missiles are to be deployed periodically in Germany from 2026 for the first time since the Cold War in a decision announced at NATO's 75th anniversary summit. The Tomahawk cruise, SM-6 and hypersonic missiles have a significantly longer range than existing missiles, the U.S. and Germany said in a joint statement. Such missiles would have been banned under a 1988 treaty between the U.S. and the former Soviet Union, but the pact fell apart 5 years ago. Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabkov said Moscow would react with a military response to the new threat. This is just a link in the chain of a course of escalation, he urged, accusing NATO and the U.S. of trying to intimidate Russia. The joint U.S.-German statement made clear the episodic deployment of the missiles was initially seen as temporary but would later become permanent as part of a U.S. commitment to NATO and Europe's integrated deterrence. German Defense Minister Boris Pistorius, who was speaking at the NATO summit in Washington, said the idea behind the U.S. plan was to encourage Germany and other European countries to put their own investment into developing and procuring longer-range missiles. Such missiles were banned under the Intermediate-Range Nuclear Forces, which were signed at the end of the Cold War and covered ground-launched missiles that could travel between 500 to 5,500 kilometers. Chinese government officials on Thursday angrily dismissed NATO's allegations that it was enabling Russia's war effort against Ukraine by supplying it with weapons components. The first time the US-led alliance has formally accused Beijing of providing military support to Moscow. In a declaration approved by all members of the alliance following a summit of leaders in Washington, NATO said China has become a decisive enabler of Russia's war against Ukraine through its so-called no-limits partnership and its large-scale support for Russia's defense industrial base. Speaking to reporters during his daily press conference, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said NATO allegations were biased, slanderous and provocative, and Beijing has lodged a formal complaint with the alliance on the matter. Lin dismissed NATO as a Cold War relic and said China has played a constructive role in the ongoing war in Ukraine. The spokesperson also implied that the strong NATO statement was based on falsehood fabricated by the U.S. and is an effort to put a wedge between China and Europe. Earlier on Thursday, the Chinese mission to the European Union had also reacted strongly, calling the NATO statement obvious lies and smears. Israeli military has told all residents of Gaza City to evacuate south to the central Gaza Strip amid intensified operations in the north. Leaflets dropped by aircraft instruct everyone in Gaza City to leave what is described as a dangerous combat zone via designated safe route marked as 2 roads that leads to shelters in Deir al-Bala and al-Zawaidah. The UN has said it is deeply concerned about evacuation orders being given. It is the second time since the war began that Gaza City as a whole has been asked to evacuate. Over the past 2 weeks, Israeli forces have re-entered several districts where the military believes Hamas and Palestinian Islamic Jihad fighters have regrouped since the start of the year. Hamas has said Israel's renewed activity in the city is threatening to derail negotiations over a potential ceasefire and hostage release deal, which resumed on Wednesday in Qatar. The talks are being attended by the intelligence chiefs of Egypt, the U.S. and Israel, as well as the Prime Minister of Qatar. Top Hamas officials, Hossam Badran, said Israel is trying to pressure negotiations by intensifying bombing operations, displacement and committing massacres. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu emphasized Israel's commitment to a deal as long as its red lines are preserved. And still on the foreign news, the United States has agreed to resume shipping 500-pound bombs to Israel while continuing to hold back supply of 2,000-pound bombs over concerns that Israeli forces will use the weapons in densely populated areas of Gaza. The U.S. in May paused one shipment of 2,000 pounds and 500-pound bombs due to concern over the impact the weapons could have if used by Israel during its ground invasion of the southern city of Rafah, where more than 1 million Palestinian civilians had sought shelter. On detonation, a 500-pound bomb can severely harm or kill everything or anyone within a 20-meter blast radius. A 2,000-pound bomb has a destruction radius of 35 meters. According to the Projects on Defense Alternatives, which conducts defense policy research and analysis, the U.S. officials said the consignment of 500-pound bombs was in the same shipment as the 2,000-pound bombs, which had led to the stalled transfer of the smaller bombs to Israel. Their main concern had been and remains the potential use of 2,000-pound bombs in Rafah and elsewhere in Gaza. Because their concern was not about the 500-pound bombs, those are moving forward as part of the usual process, the official said. The U.S. had notified Israel that it is releasing the 500-pound bombs but maintaining a hold on the larger ones, a person familiar with the matter said. Media watchdogs in India have accused the police in Uttar Pradesh state of grave overreach for filing cases against journalists after they wrote about the alleged lynching of a Muslim man last week on social media posts. Police in the northern state of Shamil district charged 2 journalists, Wasim Akram and his cousin Zakir Ali, for commenting on the killing of Firoz Qureshi in the district Jalalabad town. The journalists were charged with causing hatred and anger in the society. 3 other Muslims who shared the social media post were also named in the first information report filed by the police. None of them have been arrested so far. Wasim, a reporter with Hind newspaper in Shamli, said he was shocked when he heard that charges had been filed against him over the alleged lynching. The impact this will have is that any time you write something, you will have to think twice. What if an FIR is filed over writing this or that? Cases of mob lynching of Muslims by Hindu groups and mobs, mainly under the pretext of protecting cows, an animal considered holy by a large section of Hindus, spiked after Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Hindu nationalist Bharatiya Janata Party (BJP) came to power in 2014. Dozens have been killed in such attacks. Zakir said the people charged by the police in the Shamli case, including him, were being targeted because they were Muslims. And finally, on foreign news, United States President Joe Biden, teetering re-election campaign, has plunged deeper into crisis amid a fresh wave of pressure from allies concerned about his age and fitness, with actor George Clooney and several top Democrats joining calls for him to step aside. In a withering essay published in the New York Times, Clooney said that he had personally witnessed the 81-year-old Democrat decline at a major fundraiser he co-hosted for the president last month, and that he wasn't even the Joe Biden of 2020. He was the same man we all witnessed at the debate. Was he tired? Yes. A cold? Maybe. But our party leaders need to stop telling us that 51 million people didn't see what we just saw, Clooney wrote. We are also terrified by the prospects of a second Trump term that we've opted to ignore every warning sign. Clooney said Biden will not beat Republican prospects of a second Trump term that we've opted to ignore every warning sign. Clooney said Biden will not beat Republican challenger Donald Trump in November, and that Democrats would also lose the House of Representatives and the Senate if he stayed on the ticket. This isn't only his opinion, this is the opinion of every senator and Congress member and governor who have spoken with in private. Every single one, irrespective of what he or she is saying publicly, he said. And that's all we have on the foreign news. And up next is entertainment news.
Welcome to Entertainment News. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Here is the full report. Veteran actress Joke Silva sings songs of praise as she marks her husband's birthday, Olu Jacobs' 82nd birthday, weeks after rumors of his passing rocked the internet. You may recall that a few hours after the death, rumor of Olu Jacobs went on viral. June 30th, Nigerian journalist Betty Rabo took to her social media page to debunk the news. Taking to her Instagram page, Joke Silva shared a video of the legendary actor trying out his customized house coat to celebrate his birthday. She sang praises to God in Yoruba language and wished him many happy years ahead. Popular skit maker Lai Wasabi turned 24 and he took to Instagram to celebrate with a simple black and white photo of himself having a taste of his cake. A lot of fans flooded Lai Wasabi's comment section to send in goodwill messages and felicitate with him. At a young age of 24, Lai Wasabi has achieved quite a lot in his career as a skit maker. Known for his on-screen character, The Law, Lai Wasabi has stolen the heart of many Nigerians with his unique intellectual and funny skit. Lai Wasabi once revealed what gave him the inspiration to the birth character of The Law. He said he had gone into his grandfather's closet and found old suits and shoes which he now uses in his skit. The baggy suit and clearly outdated shoes are part of the props that has made Lai Wasabi stand out and makes his content funnier. In respect to his growth as a skit maker, Lai Wasabi won an award of recognition in the just concluded EMVCA that took place earlier this year. Over time, he has explored his acting skills, started in movies like Alakaja and a host of other movies. Nollywood actress Wunmi Toriola is celebrating her birthday July 11, 2024. Taking to her page to share jaw-dropping photos, she noted how she's really grown, evolved and transformed into a powerhouse woman. She stated that she has gradually proven herself and paid her dues in full diligence, dedication and wholesome commitment to skills. She noted how she didn't start today and how many she has been watching her since she started. According to her, the works of her hands vindicate her, and it has also prepared a table before and ahead of her. Wunmi expressed excitement about this new phase of her life as she appreciated her maker for not giving up on her. Cheering to a newer dimension of exploiting greatness, she wished herself a happy birthday. Her colleagues flooded her comment section with birthday wishes. Finally, on entertainment news, renowned prankster Zay Fancy has been freed by the police after a week in custody. According to a police statement, he was granted bail and released to the care of the practitioner of content creation, skit making and influencers guild of Nigeria. Zay Fancy was initially arrested on July 3rd at an Abuja apartment for creating prank videos that allegedly disputed him committing serious offences including rape. The police acknowledged in a statement on June 4th that Zay Fancy was taken into their custody in relation to one of his prank videos. However, it was later revealed that the video was staged and scripted, clarifying that the prankster's intentions were purely entertainment-based. Following his release, Zay Fancy received a formal warning from the authorities cautioning him against creating any future pranks that could potentially disturb public peace and cause unrest. And that'll be all on entertainment news today. Thank you for watching. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe. Bye for now.
And that's all we have on Galaxy Prime Time News. Thank you so much for being a part of the news. My name is